Welcome back. So obviously, I'm not going to bore you with all the details. We're back at Universal Orlando to do Horror Nights construction. I'm going to just update you guys on everything. We've got new props out, we've got new merch, all that good stuff. We've got a little bit more new details to talk about, but not too much. So we're going to start right here at the front of the park, and then we'll walk all the way around, heading through like New York, San Francisco, all the way back around to Cat Lady, and then Hollywood. So right here at the very front of the park, this is obviously where you'll enter the first scare zone, and also where opening ceremonies will take place. As of right now, there is no upper balcony like I mentioned before, but we've had in previous years for the opening ceremonies. So I would imagine it will be a floor opening ceremonies just like in years past. But it's looking quite nice in here. Some nice gargoyles, a crow for ambiance up in the palm tree, but he's just yelling. But again, this scare zone is looking pretty nice. Again, I want to mention this year's like Gothic themed. So this is the main scare zone, and it's got a lot of vinage and stuff all over, because it's supposed to be like overgrown Gothic. Biggest update from today is we do have house entrances. So we do have our house entrances starting to go up all over the park. This front one, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people are thinking that this is going to be the WWE house, the Wyatt's, I don't know. I'm not a big WWE person, I don't know much about it. But that will be right on here onto the left side minions going into that indoor soundstage back behind Rip Ride Rockit. Our first scare zone is obviously going to be the main one here. All the statues have shown up. Like I mentioned before, they did mention that we were getting statues of all the different major IP houses this year. So that's what's all going to be out through here. On the left and right on the podiums here. Again, I want to mention how excited I am that there's a scare zone back here again. I know I mentioned it plenty before, but I love that they put a scare zone back in here. This was always a great spot for it, and I'm glad it's back. One on the left. And then we have one at the very end with, I don't know if you could guess what he's holding. I'm guessing it's a chainsaw, but it's right over here. And also I wanted to just mention real quick, as of today, construction walls have gone up for Rip Ride Rockit. It did close just 2 days ago on the 17th. So obviously construction walls are up right now. Last rides have been given, so unfortunately if you did miss it, it is closed at this time. It'll be interesting to see if they try to tear this down super quick and get it tear down before Horror Nights in about a week, or if they're gonna try to hold it up. I'm guessing they'll tear it down, because if you can see, that's normally a house exit for a bunch of major houses back there. There's walls up. So I'm saying this whole ride track here could all be teared down within a week. So we'll just have to see. Another house entrance right over here. I do see the sign. It's definitely poking through. This is El Astria, or Artstria. I still have not figured out how to pronounce that one. Please correct me. They already have the wait time TV up above, so that's nice to see. Over here, we do have another food booth. Obviously, last week we mentioned that food booth started going up. I do believe we have a couple more to look at today that we didn't see last week. This is just a generic theme, though, this year for a food booth with a very Gothic, overgrown look. But they have the overgrown look on like all the food booths, though. And as we've seen last week, we do have the two Terrifier booths already up. Both just kind of a generic clown one that I believe is in the first movie, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have the Clown Cafe over here too, with art actually on the side. And again, as you can see, I mentioned before, they're all overgrown. As you can see, it's just kind of the generic theme for this year. And I thought before that we would have 3 food booths over here. It does look like we're going to continue with 2. That is both the Firefly Funhouse, that is the WWE one. I did have to look that up last week. And then they do have the Fallout one over here too. That is obviously themed to Vault 33 because, again, this is themed off the show, not as much the games. But to our knowledge, it is still going to be themed off the games. It's just not going to have as much references to it as compared to the TV show. And as we saw last week, our New York scare show, and that is the Toxic 20s, has started going up over here. They've added plenty since we've last been here, a lot more smaller details and such. This obviously is the BuzzCon truck that crashes and causes the mutation to start going. We do have bodies starting to show up in the scare zone. And we do have like a down light pole that does have speaker systems up on it. One thing I will say, we have no major stage over here. We do have some smaller stages, it does seem. So, but right now, no major stages. So I don't know if we're gonna get a full show like we've gotten before. A florist over here, and you can obviously see the effects of the BuzzCon stuff starting to melt different parts of this booth down here and stuff. And then obviously we do have a barrel shoved up on the top here. Again, these are kind of almost mini stages with clearly areas for the actors to come up, stand on. Got a body in the back that is covered up over there. So one other thing to quickly mention, they actually had put down a bunch of green like spots all over the ground. They actually have already been taken out. Apparently they were peeling pretty bad almost immediately. So I don't know if we'll see those return. We do have a green spot over here where the food booth looks like it's gonna be, and it's all gonna be themed to the scare zone, it seems. So that's kind of interesting. Newsstand over here. And then again, food booth back here that has fully gone up now with a facade and an entrance area. So this is actually, well, this will be the exit. So normally it's on the other side. I could be wrong. Sometimes they flip-flop it, but normally you enter from the other side. This will be the exit side with kind of the way the walls are put up. Again, food booth over here. Seem to be scared to the Toxic 20 scare zone. And then our last stage over here. This one looks like it could encompass a little bit more of a show. I would say what I think is going to be happening in this scare zone is it's supposed to be as the mutations are starting to spread throughout the downtown. So I think what's going to happen is you can see there's smoke grates down here. They'll spew up smoke. They'll be green with a light. They'll have actors come out. It will spew up on them, and then they will like start getting ravenous or something like that, you know? I think that will happen at all the little stages and even possibly in the newsstand over there because there is an inside area for somebody to stand. So I imagine we're gonna have a lot of like transformative kind of acting going on. So I think it'll be interesting. I am kind of sad currently there is no major stage. So I do hope that we do get one at some point. So over here where the tribute store is gonna be at Sahara Traders, they have put up signs showing us what kind of the theme will be. It seems to be occult artifacts of the world, and they're gonna be doing a grand reveal gala. And it seems like possibly it goes wrong, start getting overgrown. We don't really know much about this tribute store. We don't know how much it will encompass, but we'll head in, check out the merch. There is a thing that says join us August 29th. That is opening night of Horror Nights this year. So we did get confirmation that this year's tribute store is going to be here inside the Mummy gift shop, encompassing seemingly the arcade, maybe more. We're not really sure. We have been told that this will be the biggest tribute store we have ever got. What that means, who really knows? It could be by size, it could be by the amount of props and merch in there. It can mean by a lot of things, just saying it's the biggest. But we do have merch already showing up in here. Lots of new merch too. We do have a IP House shirt. That's also on a jacket too. We do have our Scare Zone shirt for the year, and then the artist shirt too. I haven't fully decided if I like this one or not. I kind of do, but I kind of don't at the same time. Don't love the artist shirt. I think they would have been better on their own shirts, but it's the 5th anniversary of having the artists do shirts. More shirts over here. This is a look at the Freestyle Cup. This is the acrylic one for this year, so this won't be the one sold at the booths, but this is the one sold inside the stores. We have a fan over here, like a hand fan. Another shirt over here that I do believe they had last week, but if you haven't seen much of the merch. We do have a Universal Pass Holder shirt and all that good stuff for this year, already released. Of course, all the Mels die-in stuff and other things we've seen before. All the little Boo stuff, again, we did see last week too. The only update I've seen so far in here that they have started adding vines all above. We do have some big pillars here too that weren't here last time I was checking this out during Pass Holder Nights. We did do a video for Pass Holder Nights, so if you're interested in that, definitely go check that out, especially if you're a pass holder. More Five Nights at Freddy's stuff did get released this year, or recently, not this year, but we are getting it for the first time this year. They do have a blanket over here too, and some headbands. And even more Five Nights at Freddy's stuff over here, including like a button-up. They also do have like a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza jacket. Doesn't look too bad. They have a lot of smaller stuff that got released too. Magnets, pin sets, stuff like that. I did want to mention the Five Nights at Freddy's pin set. So there's a big pin, obviously you can see. And when you open it, there's actually spots to put more pins. And they have mystery pin sets that come with 2 apiece. And you try to collect all 6, and then you fill up the big pin with all 6. It's a kind of cool idea. They do have a lot of stuff, including a decal set for Fallout that I do actually like a lot. As we're coming over to Fast and Furious and a very loud show right behind me, we do have another house entrance over here. This one does have their screen up too. As we already know what this is, it's Jason Universe, but I saw somebody put it on Twitter. On the very bottom, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, it does say copyright Jason Universe. So they ain't really hiding that one right now. It does seem like they didn't cover these super well today, so we might be able to see where anything else is that we don't know. I think we know where most things are at this point, but it's still funny. Interesting enough, nothing to do with scare zones or anything, but they do have the sheriff's car from Jaws that got put out here. So all the other Jaws stuff has been put up, but they brought the car out that I don't think was there before. So that's odd. I don't know. We'll end up seeing what happens there. Over here is going to be Club Horror, if you couldn't tell. But not much work has still been done over here. We're starting to see some small props show up, some speaker systems. We've obviously had the lighting system and stage up for a while. They have put up these smaller stages for dancers to be up on. And then clearly we got a little spot over here. I don't know. Some people have said they think this will be a full, like, bar over here. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe there will be though. It's themed to it, but also that could just be themed to the scare zone. Again, not a whole lot of work being done over here. Or again, sorry, this isn't a scare zone. This is a street experience. What that means still, we don't really understand. We don't know if we're gonna see more stuff show up here. I definitely hope we see at least a few more props, even if they're small, show up, because right now it's just kind of bland, but we'll just have to see what ends up happening. So even though seemingly Blumhouse doesn't have much of a presence this year at Horror Nights, they do have seemingly a photo op. I don't know, it says do not climb. So I would say you're not supposed to step up there, but I am curious to see, maybe they'll have an actor over here or something, kind of doing scares. If you remember last year, they had something like this for the new Wolfman movie, but apparently the costume was so outrageously bad that it got taken away after like the first 2 nights. I never saw him. So maybe this is a similar thing, maybe they learned their lesson, but I just thought I would mention there is a little photo op over here, and it does seem like back here they are planning to maybe have a bar back here, so we'll just have to end up seeing how that goes. So as we're heading back towards more house entrances and Nightmare Fuel, once again I want to mention that I do believe that everything over here, including the bathrooms and the bridge that have been under construction for quite some time, railings have shown up back to the bridge, so I anticipate everything being open by Horror Nights. I think they know they have to. The bridge is a major turning point in Horror Nights where it causes a lot of traffic because both the food booths over here, and it's easy to get from here over to that corner house right over there. So again, I imagine they really want this up. And that also includes the bathroom. This is like the main bathroom for Nightmare Fuel. It gets used a lot during Horror Nights, so they definitely need this up. It's all painted, signage is up, so I imagine it is nearly done. I would say by the time Horror Nights is ready to go, it is also ready to go with it. Then over here, we do have one food booth. I wanted to correct myself. Last week, I really thought it was gonna be a Hatchet and Chains house, or not house. Man, I'm struggling today, I'm sorry. It's booth. I thought it was gonna be Hatchet and Chains because of the old wood look. That's actually Camp Crystal Lake, so it's gonna be a Jason one. I do believe we've seen a food item for this. I don't know if it was leaked or not. I just saw it on Twitter. That's like a s'mores. So very interested to see what this ends up having at it. Again, Camp Crystal Lake themed over here. Again, right across the bridge when it opens. Obviously, on our left, we do know Nightmare Fuel's name. It's Circus of Decay. Again, circus themed. I'm not going to go too much in it. We've talked about it a lot before, but I know a lot of people are scared that it's going to be a similar show to last year. I'm not as scared. I think they've learned their lesson from that. But I'm very interested to see what they do this year for all of that. So we'll just end up having to see. Over here, we do know that these 2 house entrances, obviously these are the 2 trusts they'll be signed up on. This will both be the Fallout house, and Gulkin. That's one of the originals. So nothing up here for that yet, but we do know that's going to be the case over here. I did also want to mention, actually, back there with the Fallout and the Gulkin house, we do have an aerial photo from Bio Reconstruct, and they've done something very interesting. They've actually put up a tent over the queue line. So if you went last year, it rained a pretty decent amount. And there was more than once we got caught in the rain back there. There's no cover. There's nowhere to even go. Even if you tried to get out of there, the way to get back up is so far with no cover, you'll be stuck by the time you make it there. So very glad to see that. It should help both when it's still light out and it's hot, but it also should help a lot when it's raining. And I imagine that's why they put it out there. I would love to see some of those fans that they had in that queue last year, those like turbo fans that they have also blowing in there. I think it will make it a lot cooler of an experience. Also, it will keep you from getting soaked before you enter the house, because that was a big problem last year. We have another house entrance right over here. I believe this is going to be Dolls Let's Play Dead, judging by what we've seen from over near Simpsons. Actually, I can see the font through the top, so I know that's Dolls. That will be your entrance for Dolls Let's Play Dead. Again, that's going to be the doll themed house. I'm not excited for it. Dolls aren't my thing, but I will still do it. Then over here towards the side entrance for Simpsons, we know we've used this last year for a house entrance. We know this is Hatchet and Chains because we can see the facade from the exit of Simpsons, but also like, I don't know how well you can see it. You can literally, they didn't even cover it up at all. I feel like usually they do a pretty good job of covering those up. This year I just feel like I can see every single one of somewhat quality to just know exactly what it's gonna be. I just think that's really funny. It helps me a lot though, because it lets me provide the information to you. But again, usually I feel like they cover those pretty well. They usually keep where all the houses are a little bit of a secret, so it's just really funny to me. So something else that did show up in between the last time we were here, a food truck. It's just called food truck. It's called Plastico. So is this Chucky? I'm not sure. I haven't really seen much. I know we had the Chucky food truck not too long ago. I don't know. It kind of doesn't have much theming on it. It's kind of odd. Could also be a generic theme. But just thought I'd mention it's over here. It gives me very big Chucky vibes, so it could be, I don't know. More work continues to happen over here at the under bar. That's right here next to Animal Actors. They always take out all the seating, put a bar in here. Does seem like the right side is gonna be the full bar. With a lot of stuff already being set up for it. Left side does have fryers, heaters, warmers, all that good stuff. It does look like this is all prepared for Twisted Taters, judging by the look of everything, with the fryers in the back, and then the heaters, and then the little stations where they can roll things. So I would say that's probably, usually it's over here, so I would assume it's going to be again. Since last week, they have continued to work on Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. Once again, this is my most anticipated scare zone. They have put a lot of work into this, a lot of small details. Really looking forward to see what this ends up being like. They have fully put in a little cemetery over here for the cats. There's actually some pictures of cats next to some of the gravestones. I would assume those are part of the Horror Nights team that does design all of this over at Universal Creative. Probably their cats. Again, lots of work has been done over here. I mean, the amount of small detail on props and like vines and all that good stuff over there. Oh, there's another kitty. Seems like there's little kitties everywhere now. Like the seemingly pumpkin innards, maybe cat ball down there. And then over here, obviously, if you haven't seen it before, it's almost like a little boo hole like walk through. So it's all themed to like old, run down with a bunch of cat stuff over it. And it seems like there's boo holes. There's 3 exact. So you'll walk through there, seemingly getting scared along the way. Zone is still looking very good. They put up more pumpkins. I have still yet to spot little Boo. Again, I have the assumption if we haven't spotted him yet, he probably will still show up. I think they're gonna keep him until Horror Nights actually starts because they know people are gonna be looking for him. So I could very much see them just holding on to it just for giggles until it starts, then putting him up right as the premium scare night or even team member starts on, I believe, Wednesday next week. So exactly a week from now. But again, this scare zone, lots of work has been done. I think this will be really cool. It's got lots of lights. It looks like it's going to be heavily lit by the pumpkins up in the trees, and I love that look because they all have cords hanging down from them, so they're all going to light up. So we'll just have to see how this unfolds. So as we know, one of our other street experiences is Mel's Die-In Zombies. I'm very curious to see what they actually end up doing with it, mainly because over here, we do have light truss all the way up here. We also have a signage spot right here. So I don't know if they're trying to make it over here, if this is gonna be something completely different. As we can see, signage has gone up fully over here. We do have a bar of some sort over here. Very ominous music that I don't feel like normally plays in the park, so they could be testing music right now. We do have TV spots over here to put TVs in, and then a full bar set up over here too. And our final scare zone over here, obviously in Hollywood. It hasn't changed much since last week when we saw it that last time. It stayed very much the same. It does seem like there's a possibility there's a bigger prop that is yet to come out for the scare zone. Will be put out during the actual evening to obviously not disrupt the parade. We do have bodies obviously showing up all over here. Lots of tarps going up in the scare zone. So it looks like it's gonna be pretty body heavy. I do think this one's one of the more interesting ones, actually right here. And this one was like a glass tower of like drinks and seemingly got a head on top. So again, very body centric. Not much going on in this scare zone other than the stuff we saw last week. So same old, same old. Again, we'll be seeing it very close. We're only about a week away from Horror Nights actually starting for us. So we are very close to actually seeing this all in action. Again, stay tuned. We're here opening night for all that good stuff. Now, we're right back where we started, over here in front of the Brown Derby. Obviously, again, not too much this week, but obviously we're seeing those house entrances go up. A few more props going up, a lot more work being done, and the announcement of the tribute store, what it's going to entail. There's a few other announcements that did get announced. We do know that there's an Art the Clown that's going to roam the park. So we don't know what that exactly means. I don't know if it's going to be an area of the park or if it's going to be the whole entire park. We still don't know where some of the house entrances will be. There's a lot of construction going back by Rip Ride Rocket, and some of the house lines that used to be used will no longer be available to use because of the construction happening over there. So again, we'll just have to see what actually ends up happening. We don't really know for sure yet, but again, we're getting a lot of announcements still. They seemingly haven't announced everything. They seem like they're holding on to something. The only other thing that got announced in between is over at Louis. There is going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's, or a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Seems like it's going to take over Louis during the duration of the event. And it will be fully themed to Five Nights at Freddy's, seemingly with the Freddy Fazbear meet and greet and animatronics up on a stage. So again, I'm very excited for this year. I think they're doing a lot. I think they know that last year they struggled more, especially with Epic. And they know they have to go big this year for a lot of people to return faith in them. So very excited to see this year. Again, stay tuned. We will be here opening night. This will probably be our last update for Halloween Horror Nights at this time, because by the time I get here next week, it's like we would already be almost at the event. So we'll probably hang out until then, unless the tribute store opens early. Then I'll be here, hopefully the day it does. So thanks for watching. Hope this video brought a little more joy into your day, and we'll see you guys next time.